You have to first understand who you are, what you stand for, and what your value system is. That's very, 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 very important because it's not about what brand you can find that can give you money for your endorsement deals or your appearances. Not all money is good money, if that makes sense. And you have to have a long-term view of what you want your brand to mean and what you want your image to stand for. And once you have a clear picture of that, it becomes very, very easy to be able to decipher who to partner with, who not to partner with, who to go after, who not to go after. But you really, really have to have a deep understanding of oneself and one's value system. I think that's the most important thing. You have to have a long-term view. You have to look at your brand as like an asset. It's a real asset and an asset that grows over time, depending on the decisions and the partnerships that you attach that brand to, right? So don't be so focused on today that you destroy your tomorrows. Everything that you do should be adding to your longevity where you want to be down the line. So, for example, you may just want to do a quick cash, a quick cash grab. But what if now you've associated yourself with a brand where a bigger brand down the line who maybe would have had you as a spokesperson or face of the campaign or a true partner now can't really use you because you associated yourself with a brand that compromises their brand. So be very, very strategic on who you allow to have access to your branding and your image and your likeliness because in the age of social media, everything that you're doing is documented and some things you just can't reverse. And all those things can either help, they can either enhance, or they can destroy your brand and its value, right? Because everybody has a brand, everybody has a name and image and likeliness, everybody has something to offer. So you have to treat it like any other asset that you have, right? If you were born and somebody gave you a Ferrari, you wouldn't just drive it through the wall, right? Like, you would make sure you maintain it, you would wash it every day, you would polish the seats, you would put it under a shelter, you would protect it with your life because you know it has value. Well, think of yourself as a Ferrari and make sure that every decision that you make is maintaining, the value of your brand.
You got to protect your brand at all costs, right? It is yours. It is your name, image, and likeness, and you have to be the one who's the CEO of that company, right?
Exactly. You got to think like I'm the CEO of this company, and let your values, right, be your board of directors, and establish those values that help you as a CEO make decisions that are really, really linked, that are directly correlated and directly in perfect harmony with those values. And you'll end up building a brand that partnerships and people want to be associated with. Even the brand that wants to partner with you has its own brand and it has its own history, it has its own work and sacrifices that it's made. So everybody wants to make sure that they're progressing, and the only way you can progress is if you're extremely, extremely focused and approach it like a CEO of your own brand and make business-like decisions rather than just flying off the rails. If you don't have a plan that's also a plan, it's just a very bad one.
Absolutely.
I always tell my clients, hey, let's win this race at a turtle's pace. Don't rush, man. Do not rush. Like, take your time and always have somebody review anything before you sign it. Have somebody you trust review something before you sign it. But don't be afraid to go out there and develop these skills because they're going to help you way beyond just college, right? These are life skills that never go away.
Which also leads us into all the different opportunities that they're going to have, right? Which I think can help maybe build into their career, right? Whether it's speaking opportunities, starting a camping clinic, looking at various appearances, podcasts, social media opportunities, right? These are all things that could help them as they go on to the next phase of their life. Can you talk about some of the opportunities that your clients have seen from a name, image, and likeness standpoint?
I always tell them, hey, you're somebody's pride and joy. You are some high school's pride and joy. You are some college's pride and joy. You are some town, some neighborhood, some city's pride and joy. You are somebody's pride and joy. So you have to always understand that if you don't do things the right way, you're gonna let all those people down because they look up to you. But with that said, as all of these different people that we're speaking to right now, who are all prides of joy from somewhere, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, whether it's going to be speaking engagements, whether it's going to be endorsement deals, appearances, whether it's going to be starting up businesses and using social networks and social media to build brands and build followings and build a culture and a follow and a following. That you're going to have an opportunity to start about the things that you want to do beyond after school. You have the opportunity to start them now, and get paid for it without having to worry about losing your eligibility or losing your status as an amateur. So it's an amazing time to be alive right now. The opportunities are vast, but once again, I say, with so much coming at you, be an inch wide and a mile deep in what you want to do. Like, don't do a million, don't be a mile wide and do a million different things, you know what I mean? And only be an inch involved. Figure out what that inch is that you really love, and then be a mile deep with your passion in it. And you're gonna, you find yourself, growing and being successful at it. Please make sure that you understand that. Don't sign anything. Don't sign anything until somebody reviews it. Put that CEO cap on, and be very, 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 very careful out there with who you let next to your brand. Because I think it was Warren Buffett that said it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. What are your values? What are things in your life that mean the world to you, that are the core building principles of what you stand for? Once you understand what those things are, then every single partner that you partner with, every single person should exude those same values, right? That way you're building a brand that is consistent with who you are. The second you veer off and you get involved with things or people or opportunities that are not that are harmful to your value system, that's where everything is going to go wrong, right? So our value system has to be unshakable, right? And we have to be able to say yes or no, not depending on the money, not depending on the opportunity, but depending on what that opportunity, what that brand means to your value system. Always stay strong and pure to who you are, and everything else is going to take care of itself.
Humble Lukanga, you're the best. Thank you so much for your time. Sincerely appreciate it. And thank you guys for tuning in to NIL 360 EDU.